Hello, my name is Magda and welcome to my channel where I share videos on topics that are important to me, such as art, creativity and long-term sustainability in areas like the environment and finances. In today's video, I will be showing you the progress of my balcony garden from February to mid-May. I consider my balcony garden an essential part of my creative practice. In 2022, I created a short documentary about setting up my garden, and in 2023, my plants were featured in my final MA project called Allotment. When it comes to this video, it took me much longer than expected to put it together, so next time I will focus on monthly garden updates instead of having several months combined. In February, I planted radishes and tomatoes. The radishes were left on the balcony and tomatoes were taken inside. By the end of February, tomatoes started sprouting. The outdoor plants were still in hibernation, despite a few sunny days we had in London during the month of February. In that time, I also purchased a vertical greenhouse to have more space for seedlings, but it wasn't a good investment as the top flew away after a few windy days. March was cold, wet and windy, and the outdoor plants didn't see much growth due to the lack of sun and excess rain. I also planted flowers, which I got for my son for Mother's Day, and for all of the potting mixture I used commercial compost, soil and homemade compost, which I make in the composting machine. I also planted peas and cherry tomatoes, both as experiments. In April, the indoor tomatoes started growing and I planted onions in tiny pots. I also started watering the roots of the plants using cut plastic bottles, as suggested by my friend Sarah, and it made the plants greener and happier. So it was a huge difference. The wild strawberries have grown a lot since I got them a couple of years ago. That was one of the first plants I got actually, but they haven't had that many fruits since last summer, and the fruits that they have had, they have been more bitter rather than sweet. In mid-May, dill has regrown, which is nice to see because that was again one of the first plants I got when I started my balcony garden. 2 peas sprouted, but I was able only to save one because the other one was eaten by snails. The gooseberries that are behind the mint I got last year in a pound shop just to see if it would grow, and last year it only grew kind of upwards, so it was one long stick. But I trimmed the stick, I cut the stick and I trimmed the bits and pieces around at the beginning of the year and started watering the roots, and it has funny blossoms sideways instead of being one long stick. So I'm hoping that maybe next year I will be able to have fruits. Another plant I got from the pound shop was blackberry, which I got this year only. And for the first couple of months it just did nothing. I kept on watering the soil and the plant, and only mid-May, towards the end of May, it started sprouting from the soil. I know blackberry can be very aggressive, so if it gets out of control I will replant it. I hope you enjoyed this short update and were able to see that my balcony garden is far from perfect. It doesn't have the right conditions as it's facing the parking lot, so there is a lot of traffic and there is a lot of pollution. And when it gets sunny, it gets really sunny and we are able to get a lot of sunlight, but when it's wet and grey it gets really damp, hence all the snails and slugs. And but you know what, it's mine and I love it to bits. Thanks so much for watching and see you next time.